Morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I am Sean Butler. Bugsy Malone's just up in front. You'll be seeing her shortly. I hope you're all happy and healthy doing the things you love with those that you love doing them with. Please do me a favour. Smash the like button for me on the video like you always do. It really helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. And even if you have, can you double check that you still are? Hashtag YouTube shenanigans. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on today's topic. And of course, it is your Tuesday morning Tottenham news, views and clues. And it's all about Dragusin. I've got to be honest, guys. I was never worried. Were you? Were you worried? Everybody was worried on Twitter. The knives were sharpening. Levy out was trending. Certain sections of the fan base couldn't wait. Couldn't wait. I was getting atted by people saying, when this one falls apart, surely you and channels like you who defend that moron, that muppet, are going to have to explain yourselves and acknowledge what an absolute anchor he is on our progress. Looks like they spoke too soon, because this morning, guys, this morning I wake up to the tweets from Plettigol, from DiMarzio, from George Bannister, from Ornstein, from everybody, and of course from the man himself, Mr. Here We Go, Fabrizio Romano, that says that Tottenham have reached an agreement with Genoa for Dragusin, 25 million euros plus 5 million euros in add-ons. And also Jed Spence is going to go on loan until the end of the season for the services of Romanian centre-back Dragusin, Count Dragula. So in the end, it was all about the structure of the payments. They wanted 30 million up front. We went in with 23 million up front. And then negotiations got somewhere to the mark where they got what they wanted, but not all of it up front. And we managed to keep a little bit of money back. And I think, to be entirely honest, I do think that the Bayern Munich story put some pressure on it. I think that there was probably and possibly a bit of panic last night with regards the sudden escalation, the sudden late night, it didn't come out until midnight almost, 11 o'clock at night, that Tottenham had sent over an approach, a bid. If they were that comfortable, it could have happened this morning. So I'm assuming that the Bayern Munich news story added a little bit of spice to it. And Bayern Munich, as of the time of writing, still haven't necessarily been completely ruled out. They haven't put in an official bid. They've actually turned their attentions, according to Fabrizio Romano, they've turned their attentions to another centre-back whose name escapes me, a player I hadn't heard of, but one that they apparently have been looking at since the summer. It doesn't mean that the Eric Dyer deal is dead, as the story has continued to be told with regards to Eric Dyer. He is just one of a number of centre-backs that Bayern Munich are looking for, or looking at. And so it would appear that the Eric Dyer move to Bayern Munich does not rely directly on Dragusin coming in. There could be a scenario where Dragusin comes in and Eric Dyer doesn't get his move to Bayern Munich, in which case we've got 2.5 more weeks left for Tottenham to figure out what else they can possibly manifest with regards to Eric Dyer. I'd feel sorry for Eric Dyer if it didn't work out. I'm sure he's set his heart and hopes and dreams on moving to Bayern Munich, and why wouldn't you? But let's hope it still happens for him. Let's hope it happens for Tottenham. It'd be great to get 5 million euros. I don't expect anyone else to pay 5 million euros for Eric Dyer. But I think Dragusin is going to come in if he does, if the deal is confirmed and here we go today, and it looks like it's just about to be, it's all but done, then he should be on a plane this afternoon in an ideal world, have his medical, and hopefully you'll get the confirmation tomorrow, in which case he'll be able to join up immediately with Tottenham's training on Wednesday morning. Then the question would be, how much time is enough time to prepare for Manchester United? Is 2.5, 3 days worth of training enough? It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Lots to discuss about that. One player that for sure won't be featuring in the game against Manchester United is Phillips. Yesterday, It was announced that he has joined Plymouth on loan until the end of the season, which is an interesting update. When we saw that, it immediately gave me reassurances that even if the Dragusin deal is not, or wouldn't, fell apart, that Tottenham are super confident that they have a plan B or a plan C or whatever you want to call it up their sleeve, because surely they wouldn't be silly enough to have, agreed in principle Eric Dyer's move to Bayern Munich, agreed a move for Ash Phillips, know that Ben Davies is out for some length of time with a hamstring injury, know that Mickey van der Ven hasn't kicked a ball since Chelsea, at least in professional competitive football. Romero is also out for the next month. And so, in a nutshell, we would be leaving ourselves with 0 centre-backs and only one in Emerson Royale, who's really a right-back, as our recognised sort of experienced centre-backs this season. So you kind of always knew that there was going to be something happening. I do think that I think it's fair to say that maybe the Bayern Munich news out yesterday was something like a catalyst to hurry up, to not rest on our laurels, to get that deal together. But then I don't know, I'm just speculating whether or not they always had their intentions to get the bid done. I would also say that I think, to be fair, even though I think that the leaving out element of the Tottenham fans on Twitter, to a degree, were waiting for the opportunity to get that trending, to go for it again, as usually does happen in January and in the summer. I also think that reaction on the fan base, the overreaction to the potential news, also probably helped Tottenham get off their hands a little bit and hurry it up. If there are people at Tottenham who are paying attention to the zeitgeist, the kind of social trends, and see that the possibility of that deal falling apart would have manifested into a toxic energy in the short term, at least on Twitter and social media, maybe it does play its part in the pressuring of the situation. In the end, it looks like Tottenham have ended up handing over what they wanted, 30 million, but doing it in a structured way and with certain add-ons that we don't know how difficult they are to be met. But in the end, I think we've got our man. They've got their money. They've also got a player in Jed Spence, if this is how it ends up being, that Tottenham probably have looked at and have thought they made a mistake on. I was just talking to Henry, who said that he was referencing another ITK. I haven't seen the tweet, but in that ITK's reference, there was an acknowledgement from Daniel Levy that he held his hands up and has probably got that Jed Spence transfer wrong. Pressed for a player that was good technically but doesn't have the right character, the right personality, and it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see Jed Spence play for Tottenham again, and that we chalk this one up to a bad selection, bad criteria. You're not going to get every one of them right, and hopefully Daniel Levy can add this to the lessons that he has hopefully learnt over the last 3 or 4 years, to step away from the talent ID side of things, focus on the things that he does well, and let other people handle the things that they do well. So look, Radu Dragusin looks like it's done. It looks like it's about to be here we go. I'm sure by the time I put this video up, it'll be typical. There'll be a here we go. And we move on. Just for what it's worth, guys, there's other news out this morning that says that Tottenham aren't necessarily finished with the Todibo deal. It will be very difficult to get it done in January. But even if Radu Dragusin does come in, that Tottenham will look to continue to press to see if there is a willingness with Nice to do the Jean-Claire Todibo deal. If not now, then in the summer. Of course, Tottenham won't be alone in that pursuit either. Just like with the Radu Dragusin deal, it wasn't just Bayern Munich that was showing interest at the end. Arsenal was showing an interest, apparently, a late conversation, as to were Newcastle, as to were Liverpool. So, again, like I said in yesterday's video, a lot of the big teams that we're competing with, not just in the Premier League, but across Europe, are all very much looking for similar types of players. There is a bit of a dearth of talent right now, and an incredibly high amount of injuries, and sort of unsustainably high and unusually high amount of injuries to to most teams in the Premier League. And so people were looking for solutions in January in the centre-back department and, of course, in the striker department. But Tottenham look like they've got their man, which is great. They look like they've moved Ash Phillips on. Obviously, Ange Postecoglou has probably taken a look at him. And the fact that Ange has, this year, has had, in order of sort of preference over Ash Phillips, Van de Ven, Romero, Dyer, Davies, Royale, and even Pierre-Emile Højbjerg ahead of Ash Phillips. And I think the conclusion you must take from that is that he doesn't believe that Ash Phillips is ready. And so they found the right solution, and that is to move Ash Phillips out to Plymouth, and hopefully he'll get a lot more success in his championship loan than like what Dane Scarlett received at Ipswich. But in any event, if he's not fit, if he's not ready, and Dorrington isn't ready either, then, with Mickey Van de Ven and Ben Davies and Romero all out injured, and Royale being the only somewhat recognisable centre-back at the moment. As I say, Mickey Van de Ven, hopefully this is all behind him now, but we don't know, and the club certainly won't know whether the first time he has to stretch his leg it goes again. God forbid it does, but if it does, then we're back to where we are in a lot of problems. And so for those reasons, I wouldn't necessarily rule out, guys, another centre-back signing this January. It could be Tosin, it could be Lloyd Kelly. Maybe Lloyd Kelly is probably more likely because he's a sort of specialist left-sided, left-footed centre-back, rather than Dragusin, who's more right-footed, right-sided, but can ultimately play anywhere. So it will be interesting to see if our business is done in regards to the centre-back situation. We are still being linked with players like the fella at Seville, whose name, why can't I think of it right now, who's also not really a ball-playing centre-back, an out-and-out defender, and of course Andreas Christensen. So there's still chances that Tottenham aren't finished at the centre-back spot. But even if we are, we've still got 21 days, 22 days now, guys, to look for one more piece of business. Maybe a number 8, maybe that will be a loan deal, maybe a left wing forward specialist if they see Timo Werner more as a number 9 to swap in and out with Richarlison. I think there's one more bit of business to do, and we've got sort of 2 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks to figure it out and to talk about it. So good times ahead. Let's hope that this one gets done today, confirmed. Tottenham to Dragusin, Dragusin to Tottenham. Here we go. Like, subscribe, and comment, guys. And as always, bye-bye.